I've affectionately referred to my big pedalboard as Mothership, and it's due to the presence of the disaster area programmable switcher and the MIDI controller. Not gonna lie, these two pieces of gear have a learning curve to programming, and these are easier than the gold standard MIDI controllers out there. I've often wondered if I could have a much simpler MIDI control solution, and I think I found it with the Walrus audio canvas clock. But it's just a clock, right? Actually, no, it's more than that. But rather than deep diving into the pedal's capabilities, which you can check out from other videos, I want to focus on parts of the conversation that I'm missing out there and the focus of today's video, using the clock's MIDI macros to control your MIDI-capable pedals. This could be the only controller you need, even for a big board. I'll show you the hardware side of things, my personal live settings when using this in a worship band environment as a music director, and the software side of things, what goes on behind the update process, and how to use the desktop editor to set up MIDI macros. Be warned, it's not a short-form, rapid edit TikTok-style video. This is going deep with the Walrus audio canvas clock. A big thank you to Swee Lee for sponsoring this video. They've loaned me the canvas clock and the rehearsal for the purposes of review and demo. I don't get to keep the pedals, Swee Lee didn't get a say in how these videos are made, but I do get to play with them long enough to know what they're capable of. Fun fact, Swee Lee also generously gave me this mono rail large and canvas power 15, which I'm using to build this board. It took me a few iterations to land on, but I'm going to commit to this Strymon Stratum and the TC Electronics Plethora X5. 4 big MIDI-capable pedals that the canvas clock is going to control. Check out links to Swee Lee for more information about the clock and rehearsal in the description box and pinned comment. Real talk, just get the canvas clock. There is no substitute for it. It is outclassing every other device that can do the same thing. In Singapore, it's hard to find the disaster area stuff like the disaster area MIDI clock. I think that pedal can send PC messages but not CC messages, and the only other device that has the dual purpose of both controlling your tempo dependent effects and send MIDI messages is the Sila Quartz V3, which as of the time of this recording is no longer in production. The site is down. I don't even know if Sila is around anymore. Those of you in the know, comment below what happened to Sila. This may clock in, no pun intended, at a heftier price tag, but you're really buying two products in one. You're buying a clock device for your pedalboard as well as a MIDI controller. And to be able to do that so well in such a small form factor is amazing. So just save up the money, get the Walrus audio clock while you can. One of the fun things that you can do with the pedal is to edit offline. You can take it off the board and you can bus power it with your USB hub and it brings to life. These are my settings. My short press A is tap tempo, which I think is default. My short press B is to enable or disable metronome, and I'm not sure you can see that clearly over here. I will move this slightly and disable metronome. Enable metronome. And the reason for that is I need this to be instantaneous. I need to be able to turn on and off the metronome with one click, and that's very important as a music director. Sometimes I have to abandon the click because the band isn't playing together, and I will turn it off, wait for an opportune time on the downbeat or the next beat, turn it back on and see whether they get back on the beat. Get back on the beat and in time, I should say. My long presses are reserved for song navigation. For example, long press B goes to my next song, long press B goes to my next song, long press A goes to previous song. Long press A, previous song. And the reason for that is I may not have to instantaneously change songs. I can do that on the lull. I can do that when there is a crash out. I don't have to have it instantaneous. And to configure this to make it your own, it's really easy. Press the preset, go down to global. When you're down to foot switch, this is where you can change it, and I'm gonna bring it up here so you can see it clearly. A press, tap tempo, A hold, previous song, B press, metronome start stop, B hold, next song. You use the left encoder to cycle through the options, and you use the other encoder to change the option. So once you're done, press the right encoder to move out. So one other global setting that I use, I go to metronome and I go to division and I keep it at 8th note. I like 8th note click instead of quarter note click because number one, it's easier to lock into those tighter 16-note grooves with a 8th note click. This also helps with 6/8 songs, because if you have quarter note click with 6/8 songs on a quarter note setting, it's gonna fall on beats 1, 3, and 5. It is possible to get used to it, but by and large, most musicians don't listen to quarter note click on 6/8, so avoid all of that hassle. Change to the 8th note division. One last thing on display, I like to keep my tempo LED pulse as infinite, because I like to have this little reference here all the time. I'm not sure why people want to turn this off. It's really a very useful thing to have to see what your metronome is set to. How about you? Will you prefer this to be flashing all the time? Are you afraid this LED component is going to break down? Let me know in the comments. And these are my settings for the canvas clock. Firmware updates are easy, but requires you to create an account with Walrus Audio, after which you'll be directed to select the pedal you're connected to via USB. A drop-down menu gives you firmware options. Once selected, let the firmware updater on the web page do its work. Alright, I'm just praying that nothing happens during this pedal firmware update. It's nearly there. Leave pedal connector performance initialize. Pedal screen should reappear and you can verify it's now running the new firmware. At this point, the firmware update process is complete. How do I know? Leave the pedal connector while the new firmware is initialized. Is it initialized? Okay. Current firmware version 1.06. Okay. I guess I did it. If we go to the editor. Oh, right. Pedal. Start. Oh, wow. Okay, this is interesting. By this time, you would have already configured your MIDI devices to the correct MIDI channels. My timeline's on channel 1, my Mobius is channel 2, and my Big Sky is on channel 3. It will also be very helpful to have on hand the owner's manual, specifically the MIDI specification chart towards the end of the manual. Personally, I want to find a way of bypassing the pedal so that when I engage a trigger or a macro, I want to be able to load a preset but have it off so that I don't have like a chorus or a tremolo accidentally on when I engage the preset. You can do that very easily by having both the MIDI PC change to load out the preset, but also a CC message to tell the pedal, hey, I want you off when I engage you. That particular feature is bypass. And for bypass, you need to remember CC number 102, bypass is value 0, engage is value 127. You don't need to worry about the engage because you're going to do that manually as you play the song. You just need to worry about the bypassing, which is value 0. So CC 102, value 0. That's the number that you need to have in your mind, or at least have this chart referenced and highlighted so that you can refer to it when you design the macro. Where do we edit the canvas clock? On the official Walrus Audio webpage and the product page for the canvas clock, scroll all the way down until you find this little subheader, walrusaudio.io. This is the website, a browser-based system that allows you to configure your pedal that's connected via USB. At this point, only Chrome browsers are supported. If you try Safari on a Mac, it will not work. So click on Canvas Series. We have the clock, so click on clock. When you have it connected, let's click on editor. Are you sure? Yes, load from pedal. And this will bring you into the syncing process where everything is synced from the pedal onto your browser so you can edit it in real time. You can see that I already have some work going on. Where are the main parts that you need to be aware of? The left side here has all the options for you, the various submenus of the songs, the set lists, the macros, the global settings, and display settings. For each song that you configure on the canvas clock, you've got to key in the BPM for the song, the tempo value. Then you need to configure whether you want the metronome to start when you trigger the song. You can add this to a set list, the song to a particular set list. So for example, if you're on the Sunday worship team as well as a cover band, you might have two different set lists of like worship songs and non-worship songs. And down here, you got a MIDI macro table that will show you which macro is loaded up into the song. So each song has the capability of loading up one MIDI macro, but that one macro has the ability to send 15 different MIDI messages. That would be a combination of program change, control change. So let's go to MIDI macros, which is the third menu down. You have a total of 128 macros that you can edit. And under the menu system here, you can key in a name for your particular macro. This is the first one: dotted, delay, the cloud, reverb, and what's loaded on my Mobius. You can send PC messages, you can send CC messages. This number column here refers to your PC message number or your CC message number. This value number is between 0 to 127. The channel column will tell which message to go into which device. So my timeline on channel 1, so any message that is sent on to channel 1 gets sent to the timeline. My Mobius is on channel 2. Any message that is sent to the Mobius is going to be on channel 2. And lastly, any message that's sent on channel 3 is going into my big sky. But I don't want the tremolo sound to be enabled when I trigger this macro. So what do? I put in that CC number, CC102, value 0 to bypass the pedal, and to make sure that it's sent to my Mobius, it is on channel 2. If you're bypassing the wrong pedal, very likely you've chosen the wrong MIDI channel. It's being sent to the wrong device. It's the correct instruction, just sent to the wrong device. So just by way of example, I'm going to build a second macro here. First, I'm going to call this my quarter note, bloom reverb, and my chorus. PC, because this is all setting to my streaming devices. Channel 1, timeline. Channel 2, Mobius. Channel 3, Big Sky. PC 0 is my quarter note delay. Channel 1 PC 0 is going to be my quarter note delay. There's no value attached to it because it's a program change. So on to my Mobius. PC 0 is my Mobius. It's the first preset. That's the chorus sound. Channel 3, my Big Sky, I'm sending PC number 1. First preset, second preset, third preset. It's my second preset, so it's PC 1. And I don't want the chorus to be on when I enable this, so I'm going to make sure that this is CC102, value 0 is sent to channel 2, which is the Mobius. You know what? I'm gonna reorder the naming convention because I realized it can be a little confusing. It's Tram Cloud, let's send to pedal. In the macros menu, you can add this to a song. Let's go to King of Kings, and I'm going to send the pedal. And so once you're done configuring this, you can go back to songs and you'll see that my first song, Holy Forever, has got my macro .8 delay, tremolo, and cloud. King of Kings has the quarter note delay, the chorus sound, and the bloom reverb. Let's go to the pedals to check my work. So after having assigned the macros to each song, when I load the song, it should change all the different presets on the strumming pedals. Change up the song. The delay changed to the quarter note, the bloom reverb has been engaged, it's now on the chorus sound, but the pedal is bypassed because I don't want the chorus to be on. I can enable it as and when I need it. Same thing when I cycle back to the previous song, .8 delay, cloud reverb, and now the tremolo is engaged, but I can turn it on or off. Amazing functionality out of one pedal. So one pedal changes everything that you see here. And I might argue that this is the extent of the MIDI programming that most people need. So maybe you don't need those giant MIDI controllers, you just need one canvas clock and that's it. A little pro tip before you start panicking why doesn't the pedal work. Take out the pedal, look to the side, look at what the ports actually are. This port says MIDI in, and that port says MIDI out. I mean, it's currently blocked by the MIDI cable, but this is clearly the MIDI out port that you need to use to send data to the rest of your pedals. I was in a panic because I put this cable in the MIDI in, thinking that it was MIDI out, but it was MIDI in, and nothing I did on the pedals here changed anything on the pedals there. Why? Because I forgot to look at the side of the pedal and say, hey, is this the correct port to connect the pedal in? If you're sending MIDI, the left side port, the MIDI out port, is where you want to connect your MIDI cable to. So my lesson learned, read the manual or at least check the sides to make sure that you're connecting to the right port. At this juncture, you might think I'm disparaging bigger MIDI controllers, but that's not what I intend to convey. There is a place for complex controllers. They allow me to recall complex presets within the bank so that I can use a particular sound comprising of a combination of pedals and specific modulation, delay, reverb settings instantaneously. But the truth is, I very rarely have to do that kind of switching. I don't drastically change my effects palette within songs. With the cloud, the workflow felt natural and the time spent programming is minimal. I'm spending less time dialing in settings and getting to playing faster. And that's the true value of gear like this, shortening that barrier between setting up and making music. So if you're tired of being your own MIDI tech expert on Sunday mornings, do yourself a favor, check out the Walrus Audio Canvas Clock. It might just be the most powerful piece of simplicity you ever add to your board. Like this video if you've ever fought with a MIDI controller, and drop a comment to let us know how you handle MIDI at church, because we can all learn from your journey too. Curious about my big disaster area controllers? I recently cleaned up my mothership, which resulted in a cleaner tone, and you can click on the thumbnail that will pop up after this. I'll see you there.